Sometimes I fear even going to bed because of the pain that I experience. I, it eats into your independence.
There is something deeply painful about needing help when you've always been the one that helps, right?
Those 2 years I've been sleeping facing up. I cannot even stand up and be able to take a bath. Once you are out of the limelight, you disappear very quickly. In Kenya, artists are really not well protected and they are not taken care of. You even asking God, why have you forgotten about me?
Your spirit is very energizing, and that speaks a lot more to people. There is this thing that I tell people. If someone comes out looking for advice from you, before you utter the first word to them, you're the first audience of what you're going to say because you conceive the thought first, you speak to yourself, then phrase it or frame it in the way that you're going to say it to someone. So for me, when I'm hearing you speak to us and I'm hearing these words that have been so framed well, I can only imagine how much you've been speaking to yourself and how much you've made it positive. And maybe that's what gives it this strength. So I really appreciate you.
$10, $50, $100, nothing is too small to help someone. If I'm able to get this surgery, go through physiotherapy, and be able to lead a normal life, to be able to support myself once again.
Do you believe you'll walk again?
One thing I know, and I must tell people, never, never, ever give up.
Before we start this conversation, I want you to picture this. A man who spent his entire life helping others be seen today is fighting just to stand. A man who walked across Kenya telling the stories of young people today cannot walk without pain. And the question is, what happens when the storyteller becomes the one who needs saving? This is the story of Njiru Rukenya. On this show, we don't just look away from the truth, we confront it. My name is Tony Shira, coming to you from Seattle, Washington, but tonight, our focus is in Kenya and the diaspora that cannot afford to stay silent. For over a decade, Njiru Rukenya didn't just take photos, he documented a generation. Through nation media, through Young Nation, through countless journeys, across the country, Uganda, South Sudan, Rwanda, you name it, he gave the voice to Kenyans long before it was trendy to care about youth narratives. I've seen his impact personally. He once partnered with me, bringing young talent into my studio, opening doors, sharing knowledge, building dreams. That's who he is, a builder, a connector, a storyteller of people. But today, Njiru is facing a battle he cannot win alone. A degenerative hip condition, multiple surgeries, mobility loss, and a second life-changing operation still ahead. The man who walked Kenya now needs help to walk again. And if you're watching this from the United States, from the UK, from Canada, from Australia, Asia, wherever you are, this conversation is for you. Because sometimes impact doesn't come from policy. It comes from people deciding to show up. Tonight, we don't just tell his story. We become part of it. Njiru Rukenya, welcome to the Tony Shira Show.
Thank you so much, Tony, for this opportunity. I'm delighted.
We are going to jump right into it. Njiru, start us up with what your day looks like, physically and emotionally.
My days are usually tough because when okay, let's start like when I go to bed. I go to bed a bit late because sometimes I fear even going to bed because of the pain that I experience. And especially now when I go to bed, like for the last 2 years, I sleep facing up. Maybe something you haven't mentioned is that I also have a spinal problem, which does not allow me to be able to lie on my side. So for like those 2 years, I've been sleeping facing up until last year December when I did some serious physical therapy. At least now I can be able to sleep on just on one side, on my right side. So when you wake up in the morning, you're trying to figure out what to do because like I'm not working. Uh, I'm trying to figure out if I don't have a house help like at the moment, how I'll make breakfast or how I'll make some lunch. So most of the times I skip those things because of I can't fathom just standing up for 10, 20 minutes preparing a breakfast because it's painful.
Right.
So emotionally, it is a bit taxing. It's quite taxing.
I know I would like us to go back into your background and know you growing up and everything, but I want to go straight to that moment when you realized this is serious, my life is changing. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, this problem started subtly in 2021 when I started feeling pain in one of my hips, and like the man we are, I ignored it. That was February 2021 when I had that little pain. I ignored it until around May when it started spreading to my other hip. So I went to see one of my doctor friends, and they told me this is something to do with the nerves, and they gave me a prescription for 1 month. I took the drugs. It did not recede. It persisted. So I decided now to go to the hospital for thorough checkup. And they did so many tests at St. Mary's Langata, but they came up with nothing. But they also gave me some drugs to take for another month. After that 1 month, it did not help. So I went back, and that's when they decided now to do some MRIs. And with the MRIs, they still did not discover what I was suffering from. So I went to another specialist who said it was osteoarthritis. But when I took the MRI to him, he decided might have been wrong. So it sent me to another specialist whom I worked with for a whole month. I mean, almost 2 months. But in November of the same year, that doctor told me that, young man, I cannot help you. I don't know what you're ailing from. So I went back home. Then came 2022. By that time, I had already started working moving with a walking stick. In 2022, I went back to St. Mary's and I found a new doctor there, a new orthopedic surgeon, who told me that my bones were dying. He called it osteonecrosis. And he advised that I needed a total hip replacement. And since I did not have the money that they required, I came back home defeated. And then later on, a friend of mine called me and told me that I should seek for a second opinion, which I did. I went to Kikuyu Hospital, and they concurred with what Dr. Kalonzo had said. But then they said that there was a way out. Instead of doing the replacement, we could do something they called decompression. But the doctor was not ready to do that. So I went to Kijape Hospital, and the doctor I was seeing, Dr. Kitua, said that I was still young, that what they could do is do the cord decompression. Cord decompression is where they drill holes in the femur of the hip joint to allow blood to circulate within the hip. So at that point, I realized that I had not done any surgery before. The only surgery I might have done, you know what it is for men in the mountains.
Right.
Yeah. So In December of 2022, I did a bit of fundraising, and I managed to go for the COIP decompression.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they started. Now I started using the crutches.
Right.
And at that point, I realized this is totally different. This is not the me.
Mm. In terms of independence, movement, or something deeper, what is the hardest thing you've lost in this season?
Wow. When I used to work, I used to work with in the Nation Media Group. I was I was among the pioneers of the Young Nation.
Right.
Back in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
And even before we started the Young Nation, I was also a photographer for the Nation, Daily Nation, mostly dealing with features and dealing with features and arts. So that time, nobody could catch me up in the streets of Nairobi CBD because I used to walk so fast.
Right.
I used to consider it as my security because I used to move from Nation Center to the National Theatre to move. Basically, when you don't need a car you didn't need a car to walk from one point to another to cover these events.
Right.
Unless you are going out of the CBD.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be so fast. I used to, I used to enjoy my independence, but I can't. Like now, even moving from here to the washroom is very difficult. I cannot even stand up and be able to take a bath. I have to sit down and be helped.
Right.
So it has taken away my independence, a lot of my independence.
I totally understand, man. You spent over a decade telling young people stories. What drove that passion?
Actually, I don't know for sure, but all I know is that I used to love being with children,
right,
and the youth.
Right.
Like when I was growing up, I grew up in a religious home. Like my dad was a pastor, and my mom was a prayer warrior, and I used to teach in the Sunday school.
Right.
Then when I went to high school, I was also the Christian Union chairman. So when I joined the Nation after college, and then the Nation wanted to introduce something new for the youth and the kids.
Right.
And one of the editors, Mondia Moshiri, approached me and asked me, Rukenya, you're a young man, are you able to do this? And I jumped at the opportunity, and it grew into such a passion, working with the children because they are so innocent, and the youth.
Right.
It ended up that by 1995, I had already 2 columns in the Sunday Nation every Sunday.
Right.
One for the children, another one for the youth.
And now looking at it, the time that you spent at Young Nation, do you realize how many lives you shaped?
Since I was doing it out of passion, I wouldn't know the impact that I made, but later on when I used to visit schools, to look for children, because I used to move a lot within the country, I realized that even the teachers, they used to love the Young Nation so much. Like I remember one time I went to Meru and I introduced myself because I was tiny. And the headmistress of the school, I was in her office, and when I told her who I was, she stood up and ran to the staff room telling guys, oh, come and see. Come and see these guys. I didn't know he was so tiny. Ngumande ganamuene.
Right.
I will never forget that. So that's the time I realized that I was making a positive impact in the lives of the youth, and I put more effort into it. So instead of remaining within the city, like most of the guys, I would go up country and give schools a chance, because at least nobody was reaching out there. So my stories and my pages were well balanced.
Awesome. Do you feel like Kenya and even the people you impacted fully understand your condition right now?
Since I've already left the media, I mean the Nation Media Group, and once you are out of the limelight, you disappear very quickly. I wouldn't think that they would even remember about me or care about it. Maybe those people whose lives I touched. And it so happens that in Kenya, artists are really not well protected and they are not taken care of. So you realize that a lot of artists, they die poor, or when they face a problem, there's nobody to take care of them. When they fall sick, like the other day, you saw even Sovi Kenya, one of the best anchors that we have ever had.
Yes.
She was looking for assistance.
How did your body begin to fail you, and what did that feel like mentally?
I never, you know, I always heard people say that mwili ni maua, but it never hit me that it might be me next. When I started dealing, and when I got a walking stick, because I have a sister who is also in the US. And when she handled what I was going through, she sent me a walking stick.
Before we even go there, before we even get the walking stick,
yes.
I'm at the point where when did you start to feel like this is not normal? Like even before you started going for the walking stick, like when did you start to know that you're actually ailing?
After the first test, because the first test at St. Mary's was very thorough.
Take us to the point where, like you are on your normal day, and you started to feel something like that. That's the part I'm trying to look for, because even before you decided to take the test, I'm sure something must have driven you to imagine that there was a problem.
Yes. That's when I started limping. When I started being unable to, struggling to enter into a matatu. And then like when we got into town, alighting from a matatu, people would like, the way the matatus drop people like in a hurry.
Right.
And I had to ask the driver and the conductor, I cannot move, so wait for me,
Right.
At that point, I realized, this is not easy. This is a life-changing thing.
I'm just imagining a situation where you realize on your own now, you're not even feeling safe to alight from a matatu. You have to actually make arrangements for how you get out of a matatu. How was that for you mentally?
Oh, I remember one incident when I live in Kawa West. That is the northlands of Nairobi. And I remember a certain day when we got into town, and the matatu, there was traffic on the normal route that used to take. So the matatu decided to go through a different route up near Gill House. And because that's not their route, and the traffic police are very keen on that.
Right.
So at around Gill House, when they realized there were no policemen, they started telling people to alight very fast. And then I could not move fast like everyone else.
Right.
And you see the driver is impatient that I know I cannot jump. I cannot move like anyone else. Anyway, at least they waited for me, although they were in a hurry. But then walking from there and trying to cross over from, trying to cross Moi Avenue so that I could go to Kencom. That day I was going to hospital. I realized even crossing the street was very hard for me.
Right.
And that was not the me that I knew. The guy who used to carry his cameras in town and move like, like lightning.
Right.
Was I could not imagine. I realized maybe I might not even be able to be coming to town.
Wow.
Anymore.
Right. There is something deeply painful about needing help when you've always been the one that helps, right? How has that affected you?
It eats into your independence. And basically, like for me, I've been very independent in life, making decisions for myself, even like when even when I was doing the Young Nation, because we used to do interviews with the kids. I didn't need to be instructed on what to do, so I was so independent.
Right.
And now coming back into the house, like you have to depend on somebody to make food for you to eat. And like now, like I live alone. I don't have a wife, we separated a long time ago. So like when you get such a problem, you lose your independence. If you need those things that you used to do for yourself, even going to the shop to do shopping, you have to rely on somebody. Then you send somebody to these people, you send them, they don't bring you like what you needed. And when they're doing for you, even if it's your money, it's like they're doing for you a favor. And you feel like I wish I was my former self, because I would be able to do these things for myself.
Right.
Losing independence is quite painful.
Right.
It disconcerts somebody.
Right. You said you got separated a long time ago. Was that before the ailment?
Yeah, that was before the ailment, because I started dealing in 2021, and we had separated in 2020. I mean 2010. That's 10 years before.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So have there been moments when you felt forgotten?
Many times, yes. Okay, one thing, let me say that I would like to thank my friends who have stood there, who have been there for me. But there are times when you're in the house and you are all alone, and the pain is too much and you cannot move, and you start asking God some questions. You feel, the pain, you bear the pain, and you even asking God, "What have you forgotten about me?" But then again, back in your mind, you realize that, oh, I'm a man of faith. Let people be. Let people be.
Right. Now, I would like you to break it down for us. What exactly is the condition, and what does the second surgery mean for your future?
The condition I'm suffering from on the hips is called osteonecrosis. Osteonecrosis is the death of the bones, because osteo stands for bones, necrosis means death. It happens when blood does not reach the bones. So, and when the blood does not reach the bones, it means that oxygen does not reach those bones. And oxygen is life. So those bones start dying. Depending on the severity of the ailment, it means that you need to have an artificial hip. And mine has been so serious that I needed both hips at the same time to be replaced. But we replaced the vast hip in 2024, because the core decompression we did at Kijape did not work out. The bone continued dying, and the blood supply was not enough. So I did the vast hip, the left side hip. It was replaced in 2024. It made a lot of difference, because at least I'm able to hold that leg. Even if though there's pain in the knee, at least I can fold that leg, and it can support the whole of that. It can support my body. Actually, my support comes from that hip that was replaced. So I need this other hip to be replaced, so that there's some balance.
Right.
And then I'm not even now touching on the spinal cord, which had fractured, and which couldn't be treated. The doctor said that it would resolve itself. But with time, we realized that we needed a lot of physiotherapy for it to at least to be a bit normal. Because when it was neglected, I ended up getting something called spondylosis. That is misalignment of the back of the spine of the back. So if we replace the second hip, it means that my body can have at least some balance. That the two legs, the weight is able to be balanced on the two legs. But now with the one leg, all the weight goes to one leg.
Right. I want to ask this. If you don't get this surgery, what happens?
I cannot I cannot imagine what would happen, because if I'm in the pain that I am, and I still rely on painkillers and muscle relaxers, if I don't get this replacement, it means I'll continue using the painkillers. And the problem with the painkillers and the muscle relaxers, NSAIDs, when you continue using them, they destroy your kidneys. So we are talking of double catastrophe. You have a problem with the joint, then you get another problem with the kidneys and maybe the liver. So it's start a new problem again. And when you get a problem with the kidneys, you end up doing dialysis.
Oh, man, that is a lot. That's a lot. I want to believe that we'll not get there. What does the financial burden? So. Yeah, amen. What does the financial burden look like?
I've not been able to work for the last 4 years without counting the 2021 when I spent most of my time in the hospital. We are talking of 2022, the last job. The last time I held my camera to cover an event was back in April of 2022. And after that, I've not been able to hold my camera again. Actually, I cannot lift my camera. Even I cannot walk with my camera, because if walking is a problem, I mean, even if I was given a job, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
So I've been relying on my friends, the help from my friends financially. They came through for me in 2022. They also came through for me in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are not just talking about the replacement of the hips. Mm-hmm. We're also talking of the upkeep, the utility bills,
right.
The caretaker when I have a caretaker who has to take care of me. Mm-hmm. It's a quite a burden, because when you are not working, and you cannot be able to go to your friends every day. You cannot wake up and go to your friend, even if they wanted to help you to eat.
Right.
Emotionally, it is taxing. Since I started this journey, I think I've spent over 3 million shillings. Mm. I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm trying to reach out to my friends to help me to have the hip replacement. Maybe in May, and after the hip replacement, at least go through physiotherapy. Because even if you replace these hips without physiotherapy, which is the most, actually, it is the most expensive thing after the surgery, post the surgery, right. Physiotherapy, because now you have to do physiotherapy exercises, and you have to go to an expert. At least they know how to do it, right. To help you, to be on your feet again, or even move these legs.
Right.
Emotionally, when you sit down and you wonder, will I be able to get this? Will I be able to raise this amount? Will I be able to walk again? Will I be able to find another? Okay, once I'm able to walk, will I be able to find something that is productive? Because, like, I know I might not be able to hold the camera again, but I need to eat, that I don't necessarily have to depend on my friends once the surgery has been done. So it's burdensome in my mind.
Right.
Yes.
Man, there are Kenyans watching right now. What would you say to them directly?
I would like to appeal to whoever watches this to help me out. $10, $50, $100, nothing is too small to help someone. It makes a whole difference, in my life, if I'm able to get this surgery, go through physiotherapy, and be able to lead a normal life, to be able to support myself once again.
$10, 50, 20, 100. In real terms, what does that mean for your recovery?
Wow. With $10, I can have a good meal for a week. No, $10, that's 1,500, 300 Kenya shillings, about that much. I would be able to get a balanced diet for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
After surgery, you lose a lot of blood, of course. You need calcium, to strengthen the bones, because like what the doctor said, my biggest problem is that I have a degenerative problem of the bones. And at the moment they call it osteopenia, because I haven't reached that stage of osteoporosis. So I have to get my bones stronger again, not to reach that point of osteoporosis where my bones can even break from sneezing or coughing.
You make it sound like so light, and the one thing that has stood out for me, like through this far, is you're very positive. I'm looking at your face and you're still very, very positive, which is encouraging, because then it kind of points to the strength of your will to move on. And I'm just thinking, if this surgery is successful, what is the first thing you want to do again?
Wow. There's something I told God. Maybe in my youth, maybe I might have wasted a number of years. Maybe none of us is perfect. Maybe I might not have led maybe necessarily a very good life. But this sickness has taught me a number of things. If God grants me this chance again, because I consider it a second chance, I've told God, if you heal me and give me another 20 years, I want to go back and give back to the society. And I have a passion for helping the less privileged in the society, especially. So like I've been thinking of maybe once I get better, I look for partners. We set up somewhere where we can help these young teenage girls who get pregnant, where we teach them some skill to be able to stand up on their own. So one thing, if this is successful, first of all, thank God and say, hallelujah. Thank you, Jehovah, for what you have done for my life. And then give me those 20 years, to recover those years I lost in your kingdom.
Do you believe you'll walk again?
Yes, I do. If I didn't, I wouldn't be even doing this interview.
Right.
I have this strong belief, very, very strong belief, that soon I'll be walking again.
Right.
I may not necessarily walk the way I used to walk when I was younger, but I'll walk again.
Right. That's awesome, man. What keeps you going?
Wow. I have a very strong belief in God, the God our Creator, the Supreme Being, the Father of Jesus Christ.
Right.
I have a very strong belief in Him, and it is that hope. It is that hope for tomorrow that keeps me going. And like Jesus said, don't be anxious for tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Then in the book of Philippians, you give thanks for everything that happens to your life, and nothing happens without the knowledge of God. So I know this is a learning moment for me, and that gives me hope that I'll walk again. It gives me hope to live for tomorrow. Then I also have my 2 children, and I believe that I want to see their stability. Then I'm also educating some girl I found, and I want to see her. She's now in Form 3. I want to see her complete education. We are not even from the same tribe, but it is a girl I found that is very sharp, and I thought she might lose a chance in life if she was not helped, because she comes from a very, very poor background. So like I'm able to talk to a few friends who pay for our school fees.
Hold it right there. You're here seeking help for your own situation, but you still have the heart to extend whatever help you get to someone else. How do you do that?
You see, I cannot dwell on my needs so much. I'm not able to extend I'm not able to see other people who are suffering, because as much as I'm suffering, whenever I go to a hospital, I also see some people who are even worse than me. When I look at the society, especially where I live around, I see how young people are getting wasted, and I realize that they need somebody to help them. So like this girl I'm helping, she's now in Form 3. I spoke to my friends. I spoke to one or two. I spoke to a friend of mine in the US, and I said, I have this girl, and she needs help. Can you please help me to pay for her school fees? And they were a bit reluctant at first. They were asking, how come Kenya doesn't have, a program for such people? And I said, well, even if they had, I'm not able to move around because of my mobility problems. So I may not be able to reach those bodies. Of course, can you help me out, because this is not so expensive? So they agreed to help the girl, and I stay with the girl while she closes school.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. What message do you have for anyone that is watching this that's feeling like giving up?
One thing I know, and I must tell people, never ever give up. Never ever give up. When you give up in life, that's the end of you. Don't give up. There's always a brighter tomorrow.
My friend, you are a very strong person. What are your closing remarks?
Now, closing remarks, my friend. I've never been interviewed before for my closing remarks. Okay, one thing I would like to say is thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, even to speak to a large audience. I know the people that I helped had featured in the newspapers back then. They are now about around around 40 years now, about 40. Some of them might be watching this. Please come out and assist me.
Sure.
And anyone else who is watching this, nothing is too little to make a difference.
Right.
Never too little to make a difference.
Right.
And God will bless you.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
You've just heard his story. Not headlines, not statistics. A human being. He is a man who gave his life to telling our stories. Now, he's asking for a chance to keep living his. And here's the truth. This is not one of those moments where we say someone should help. You are the someone. If you are in diaspora, this is where your dollars matter more. This is where access meets responsibility. The GoFundMe link is right here. Just check it right here below. Share it. Donate. Send it to your friends. Send it to your group chats. Send it to people who say they care. Because one day, you might be the one who needs the world to stop and notice you. This is the Tony Shira Show, where we don't just talk about impact, we become it. And my name is Tony Shira, and I will see you on the next